Hey guys, Jaxie here. Today we're going to be ranking every map in Those Who Remain. Originally I wanted to do a video covering the community maps that have been added to the game, but I realized that I'm like several months late to the party on that one. But while I was doing research, I figured out that no one has really done any video specifically ranking the maps of the game. There's primaries, perks, all those other rankings, but no one's done one specifically for maps. So I figured I'd jump on that boat first. Before we get into this, I just want to make it clear that I'm doing this mostly from a casual perspective, ranking them based on the regular game mode, so no classic or hardcore mode being considered here, mostly just a casual perspective. Maybe some of my own advice for some of these maps as well, so with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Airport. I don't know where to put this one. I just played it for the first time last night. I guess if I had to put it anywhere, I guess I'd put it in mid. It's a weirdly linear map from what I've played. Like, it's just kind of like a straight path to the airport runway. Like, that's really the only optimal spot. Everywhere else in the airport is kind of just a dead end, to be honest. It's very claustrophobic if you're trying to run away from a horde of zombies and you don't have the firepower to stop all of them. I'll show you what I mean in this one clip right here. I'm just kind of running through the whole airport. You can see just how linear it is compared to the interior, to the runway where it's like actually open, which kind of makes it like repetitive because you're only doing it that one playstyle. I think you can even see in this. I think you can even see in some of this B footage. I eventually just gave up and started only resorting to the runway. Just started using the barbed wire strat, just running around in circles the last two waves. So, not much variety in gameplay overall when you play this map. And something else I've noticed, since this is a community map, there's a bit more glitches going on with this map. Particularly with items that you just kind of get stuck on for no reason. For example, there's this like one bench just outside of like the information booth you use to go out to the runway, where you just kind of like run into an invisible wall that shouldn't be there next to the bench. And when you have a bunch of zombies after you and you run into it, that gets bad pretty quickly. So I feel bad putting it in mid because it is a community map. Other people made this, but I don't think it's very well designed for Those Who Remain as a game. Next up we have Bypass. This one's a classic. This could go either way for one of these. I'm not sure. You know what, I'm gonna put it in really good. There really is just nothing wrong with it. It's a really good map. It's a classic. It's another one of those like really like linear maps where it's just like a line you follow pretty much, but like there's different ways you can play this. You can camp in the military tent that's like next to all the stores. You can free run. You can do the barbed wire strat that I usually do. There's also a decent spread of items everywhere. There's like items in the stores, obviously, in the military tents, and there's also items you can find in the tunnels that are past the bridge that you run past. That sort of connects the two. So it's a pretty replayable map overall, I would say. And yeah, I would call it a really good map. Anyways, cabin. I'm gonna put that in decent immediately. It's kind of like a really condensed version of Ranch, except it's also really dark and items only spawn in the cabin. Which kind of means there's no other choice but to free run this map in the dark and only run into the cabin when you need items. I see people sometimes camp in the basement near that little office, but that tends to not go so well most of the time due to like bloaters and bursters and people not really communicating well with each other, and it can just go really, really wrong if you're not careful. So free running on this is fun, but it's really the only way to play this, and you also have a really hard time seeing anything when you're playing this map because of how dark it is. I get that it's a rural nighttime setting, but you also have maps like Cargo, Mill, I think even Manor. They're all set at nighttime. You can see just fine in them, but that's my thoughts on Cabin. Overall, it's a pretty decent map. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's a decent map. It's fun. Cargo. Cargo is an interesting one. I'm gonna be real, I completely forget out this one all the time. I guess mid, there's just nothing that stands out about it in my head. Like, the cargo ship's pretty cool. You get to fight zombies on a cargo ship, but there's just nothing else to this map. I guess the items are mostly spread out. That's kind of cool, how you have to, like, run around the entire port to, like, get items. But there's no real, like, cohesion to it. It's just too bare in a way. No real decorations to interact with or anything. Just kind of weird. Alright, next up, Carnival. Where do I put this on the list? I'm gonna go really good, to be honest. It's kind of built like District, like eerily familiar to how District is laid out, where you have, you know, a road just going down and you have a split road going off to the side, and then some other buildings you can go into. But honestly, I really like the Carnival and theme park theming and how you can literally go on the pier side and interact with stuff there. It's really nice. I kind of enjoy it. I have to bring it down by a point since it's so similar to District, but it's honestly really good. I would highly recommend playing it if you're looking for a bit more of an intense side on the later waves. But yeah, overall really good. Play this one if you're a higher level player and you want to kill more zombies with a bit more gameplay variety. It's really good. District. I just talked about this one. I'm going to put it above Carnival just because District came first and it's the official map. I would say this one's harder just because it's slightly more condensed. From what I hear, camping is viable on this map, but usually most of the time I like to just free run and do that barbed wire strat more often than not. Usually in the center of a road, that's usually where I can get a big pile of zombies to come up usually and really do some damage. Expressway. This one is another classic that I used to see all of the time, but I haven't seen it much ever since it got updated to the point where it added a zombie spawn point back. I would say that's for the better because it adds some more gameplay variety, because like all you really do with this map is just go to the front and just shoot the zombies that come from there. And now that the back is there, you have a bit more to do, but besides the objectives, it's kind of doing the same thing over and over again. There's nothing else really to it, so I'm gonna put it in decent. Laboratory, this one is... oh, I remember this one being really controversial. Both because it was really performance intensive and because the spawn is just atrocious. Like, let's be real. You have to run all the way from an isolated point just to get to the main map, and you have all the chances in the world of getting swarmed by zombies before you even get there. You don't have Speed Demon, which is the perk that increases your running speed. You're basically just going to get swarmed instantly, and you're going to have a hard time of getting out without being swarmed. Which I think is kind of problematic game design, punishing players before they can even get to your map by spawning them in a place so far away from where everything is. You can't even camp spawn because there's a zombie spawn there as well. And because there's no resources that spawn there, you're eventually going to get swarmed. This map also used to be really glitchy, like up the ass as well, with all the invisible walls everywhere. But they've been patched since then, so I can't really use that as criticism for this map. Overall, it's mid. I'm sorry. There's like no other place for it, really. Alright, Manor. Where do I want to put Manor? This might be just me, but I'm gonna put it in really good, even in front of Bypass. I don't know, I just really like how there's so many ways you can just play this map. You can free run outside on the grass, you can just camp in the fucking library office if you wanted to, or you can just run around the manor itself and explore all of the really nifty rooms that are there. But yeah, this map overall has a pretty healthy spread of items that you can take to your advantage, basically all over the place, which I really appreciate, honestly. Okay, Mill. This is another one that I kind of forget about a lot, just because it's just this big open snowy wasteland, but I'll put it in decent. I don't have much to say about it. It's pretty, there's a lot of elevation to this map compared to the other maps, which is interesting because you can't just shoot straight at zombies from like 10 miles away and hit them. You actually have to adjust for the terrain that's on this map, and that's interesting to work around. I like that it's the one snowy map in the entire game. I I really don't know what else to say about this map. Where do I want to put prison? I guess I'll put it in really good. There's actually like multiple ways you can approach this one as well. Just something that I notice people do in this map a lot when they camp is usually they hang out in a sky bridge overlooking the prisoners in the courtyard. That's actually not a good place to be due to the bloaters that can snipe you from when they're walking down the sky bridge, and if you don't kill them fast enough, they might become a problem for you with their spores and whatnot. So usually what I do is when I have like a 50 cal, I just hide out in the showers and fortify it, and usually that works out pretty well. Where do I want to put ranch? It's a really good map if you're a beginner, but once you are a high enough level and you know what you're doing in the game, it's really, really boring. And I feel really bad for people who play this map first and then play the others expecting a similarly calm experience to the one ranch provides you. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put it somewhere in mid. I'm gonna put it at the top though. I like it more than airport, that's for sure. I don't know, there's really not much to say about this one. Like, you have this big open grassy field that you just run around and it's just kind of noise. Like, there's nothing really to do in this map besides, like, interact with the buildings and do your objectives. I see people fortify themselves in a barn, which is, like, fine, but, like, at the same time, this map is so safe, like, realistically speaking, you wouldn't really even need to do that. So, I don't know, just kind of one where you just free run and nothing else. Objectives are especially painful on this map, because you just have to go so far just to, like, do them, and it just kind of gets tedious after a while. Now that I think about objectives, I kind of want to like go back to some of these. How are these maps for objectives? Laboratory is still the same, cargo is still the same. Oh yeah, there's another thing about airport. One of these escort objectives kind of goes behind the fence in a runway, which is kind of awkward to make him follow you since you have to go up right to the fence to keep him going, which puts you in a pretty vulnerable position to be swarmed by zombies. I'm not sure if that's an intentional glitch or not, but it's just kind of a thing that happens, and it's kind of awkward, I would say. Bypass I'm actually going to put down a few notches just because the escort mission in this one is particularly bad. I'm actually going to move it all the way down decent, to be honest, because in some cases you can't even complete the escort objective. Even if you start right from the beginning and you follow him throughout the entire wave, you still won't be able to complete it in time just because the distance is so far, and sometimes the escort goes so slow, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Boom! So you'll notice that I haven't put anything on the goat or anything on Stinky yet. These are two that I've reserved for this moment. It's for the best and worst maps that I think are in the game, which is kind of hard, because some of these are really good, some of these are kind of eh. If I had to put something in Stinky, which of these 4 maps do I not like the most? I mean, Laboratory is like obviously the worst from a gameplay design standpoint. Yeah, I don't know, I don't hate it. It kind of sticks out in my mind, ironically because of how weird it is. I just kind of like it. I'm kind of used to it now. It's like Stockholm Syndrome. Cargo, on the other hand, I have no memories associated with it. I think in my highlight experience series, I only played this map a couple of times, even if at all. So, I really... Yeah, Stinky. I'm sorry, Cargo. There's just nothing interesting about you. As for the goat, really this is only a decision between Manor and District. Which one of these do I like more? Manor I have a high place in my hearts with. This was one of the first maps that I've shown off in a video that I did on this game, and it was the one that really started me doing YouTube. But if I had to pick one that's objectively better than the other, objectives are a little easier to do on this one if you're quick enough. I'm gonna have to give it to District. District is my pick for the best map in the game. Manor is a very close second. But yeah, this is what my list looks like on the Those Who Remain maps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you rank any of these maps any higher or lower, or what else do you find interesting about some of these maps? I would love to hear from you guys. Anyways, if you guys want to see more content like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a whole lot. And yeah, I'll have another video out sometime soon, hopefully, and see ya.